Hi, you guys. This is Kehlin Farooq from the Exotic Pop Beverages, and you're watching the Courtney Hall Show.
Thank you all for tuning in to another edition of the Courtney Hall Show. I'm over here with Kehlin Farooq in the building. Thank you for coming.
Wonderful.
Yes. Okay, listen, you have this amazing brand. It's called Exotic Pop. Explain it. Tell us about the brand.
So, 2016, our primary partner and owner, Charleston Wilson, he went to LSU and you know, he really tapped into the culture of Houstonians being soda connoisseurs. And a lot of those rare sodas that many in our area liked were sourced out of Louisiana. They were not sold in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like liquid gold to get some of these products from Louisiana and bring them back to Houston. So he was working, because he's a serial entrepreneur, but he was working in Baton Rouge at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was able to get these particular products and bring them back on the weekends when he came home. So this is actually where the history began with, it was nothing new to Houston, but it was so hard to get those products back and forth, but he was able to source them back and forth because
From Louisiana to Houston.
back to Houston, and it took shape to whereas they were asking for the different products more and more, so he just grew the brand and actually started not only getting products from Louisiana, but across the world that were rare and not offered in the United States, which makes our products exotic, and Exotic Pop was born.
Mm-hmm. So it started in Louisiana initially, the idea.
The idea started with, there's a Barks Red Cream and a Barks Brown Cream soda that's only sold, or that was only sold in Louisiana, that soda connoisseurs in Texas loved a lot. So he would bring them back, and because of the logistics of travel and the exclusivity of the products, you know,
That's why you call it Exotic Pop.
and that's why we charge $5 to $100 per soda.
Mm-hmm.
So it allowed us to
$5 to $100 per soda?
5 to 100.
So one of these could cost $100.
We have
$100.
exclusives that literally cost $100. Like we literally did a collaboration with Travis Scott on his Astroworld soda, and those sodas sold for $100, but as much as $500 online when people resold them. So
because it's like a collectible. You're taking legends and then you're putting them, you're branding them, and then you're branding the taste as well, right? So yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so we kind of transformed the soda beverage and juice industry and made them also collectibles of some sort, especially with our legends, as well as big artists like Travis Scott who have a lot of merch. So it's almost like it became a piece of merch more so than an actual, I mean, although many people drink them, but at the same time, that's what it developed into.
So what's the importance of Exotic Pop?
Man.
And what does this mean to the hip hop culture?
On so many levels, Exotic Pop, honestly, is ingrained in community work, community outreach, African-American ownership, African-American business that can float into one day being a Fortune 500 company by way of us using our ingenuity, education, background, and teamwork to take us to the next level. We're deep into the culture because we are like one pulse away from what's going on a daily basis with all of our entertainers, rappers. We recently received our day in the city of Houston from Mayor Turner
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. From our outreach, we were actually paying the rent of a lot of those who were less fortunate or found themselves in bad times during the pandemic. So this outreach was recognized by the city, so we got our own day in the city. So that's where the bulk of our work, believe it or not, puts us in a position to make these products so successful.
What's your favorite?
Me personally, this is not one of the first ones we created. But
and don't lie, because you already told me off camera.
Honestly, I always big up our Houston legends first, like Fat Pat, Hawk, Big Mo, and things of that nature. But personally, and this is special because this pina colada that we recently created about maybe 6 months ago is dear to me because we created it like from scratch. A lot of the other products, we were going back and forth in the early stages of starting a beverage company to get it right, and it took us a minute to get it. But once we got it, it was like this was that's one of my babies, and as well as Charleston. So the pina colada, the Desto Dub pina colada is probably my favorite.
And what's your role with Exotic Pop? What do you do?
I'm product development. So most of these products, me and Charleston collaboratively, we're up at most of it, and amazingly, most of these products were created. The inception of them were like 2, 3 in the morning, because that's when, believe it or not, that's when the root of all the business plays and acquisitions and contractual negotiations happened with me and him. I don't know if we just at peace at that time, but he'll call me at 1, 2 in the morning, and that conversation will last till sunrise. Like, you remember when you met that guy the first time and you kind of like
just up all night, just talking on the phone?
Yeah,
but you know what? Creative juices do tend to flow like early in the morning.
I guess that's what it is, because sometimes I'll be like, bro, we on the phone too long, you know. But neither here nor there, we get so much accomplished, and that's where a lot of our what we call our babies were created. He'll call me and be like, what you think about a Bun B? I said, he's a legend.
Yeah.
Let's get him on the phone and see if we can do, and that literally happened for, and the beauty in all of this is some of our legends are no longer with us, rest in peace, but we were able to create a new product under a booming brand and allow for their families to eat again off of their legend, when it was more so of everybody celebrated them, loved them, talked about them, but it wasn't generating a whole lot of money. So for us to reintroduce them in this format feels good, and Charleston is proud of that he was able to.
Oh, so they get to profit from this.
Oh, yes, definitely. We literally creatively came up with contracts. Each one of these families have a contractual agreement with us to sell those sodas nationwide, and they get a check every month for these products.
Now tell me, what's some common myths with this business, Exotic Pop?
The biggest myth, and sometimes...
Because I can tell you, whenever I first heard about it at 39 Cent's first show, I was like, Exotic Pop? And then I was like, does this have something to do with like a porn or something?
Right. So Exotic more so is the exclusive part of the brand, meaning that these are very rare. You can't get them anywhere, and you're in a exclusive class if you choose to pour up an our double cup and drink our delicious drinks. I think some of the common myths and the elephant in the room sometimes is that because the drink culture that exists in Houston, Texas, with sip and serve and things of this nature are what we would call the recreational activity of people. Everybody has their own recreational activity, whereas marijuana, sip and serve, whatever.
Those type of things.
Us personally, we were just digging into the culture of the soda connoisseurs who loved great flavors. We never promoted or co-signed using our products with any other substance. But sometimes things take a shape of their own. So what we do appreciate is that the culture has embraced us as a great soda brand, because some people mix it with, you know, different liquors and things of that nature, but we don't sell liquor.
Right.
We even made a a truce amongst ourselves that we would stay in our lane in relation to beverages, from soda to juices and things of that nature, and you know, and let the general public, you know, have fun
do what
with
they
it the way.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. If you could speak to your younger self, what would you say?
Oh my. To my younger self. From what aspect? Because to be honest now, believe it or not.
Well, if you were speaking to young Kehlin, what would you say? What would you have to say?
Okay,
Is there something?
Well, it's great that you asked that, because when I was young Kehlin, I would have hoped that there were outspoken African-American owned companies that could invite me in and gauge my interest in relation to entrepreneur and exploring being a part of a company as such. When I was younger, I did aspire to be an entrepreneur someday, but the outlets for me to be able to speak to a me now was slim and none. So we invite, and Miss O knows best, she's here, but she's a part of that component where we're inviting young African Americans as well as others to come in and learn financial literacy, learn how to start a business, be an entrepreneur, not fear what's in front of you, because everything's possible. So primarily, that's pretty much what I would love to offer, or hope what was available when I was that age.
What do you do in your spare time?
Man, you know what? I guess this interview came at the boring side of my life, because if this was 20 years ago, I could have told you about the channel. But honestly, not that getting older means boring,
right.
but my energy now. I'm 48.
Okay.
So
and you have a heart of
and I have a
28-year-old, right?
Right, and I'm married. I got a 19-year-old, a 16-year-old, and a 9-year-old. So my biggest joy now is, which I would have never thought when I was younger, is going to their sporting events and teaching them how to be model citizens, and and I go home.
Yeah, and that's good.
And I'm gonna tell you what happened is.
You say that in such a bad way. That's a good thing.
You know, because it does. Because sometimes it's crazy. It's almost like this turns into a therapy session, because that's okay for me, but everybody around me who hasn't experienced what I experienced, like I worked for BET for 5 years, so I traveled the world. And when I finally was able to settle down, I didn't want to get on a plane again. I was like, I was good. I was like, I've seen it all. I'm good.
Yeah.
Everybody else was like, we haven't though, bro. Yeah. So it's a guilt on me that they go on vacation and I don't want to go. Is that bad?
No, that's not bad. Do you feel fulfilled?
I feel fulfilled.
And that, let me tell you, everybody's trying to get to that point. So I feel like you're good. You're good.
Okay, y'all, I'm good. Stop getting mad at me for not wanting to go to Disney World.
What would you say to black boys?
Oh my God, what would I say? What do I say? I talk to young black men on a daily basis. And one thing, first and foremost, that I tell them is, and they'll get it later, but I tell them now so it can resonate later, like, because everybody hears information and then it's not till you truly understand it till you have the aha moment. And you recollect what mom or whoever told you, like, now I get it. Yep. But if they were never told, it takes longer to get it, you know, and that's the painstaking part about growing up if you didn't come up in a nurturing environment where people gave you information that you could use later. So first and foremost, the fear of God only. Whoever that is to you, that's your only fear. Everything else is like this big. Okay. It's only when you don't have a higher power in your life that it's this big. Because everybody make the boogeyman, you know, the boogeyman. Right. The boogeyman doesn't even exist. But if you don't have
so you don't have any fears in your life at all. So you can go jump out of a plane right now.
I can't do that.
Okay, so you do have some fears.
I can't. And it's crazy that you asked, because I have this thing about me that I won't, and it's just me.
Okay.
I won't try anything that I'm not in control of.
Okay. Why?
Because I'm not in control.
If you're not in control, then you're...
If I die, I want to say that it was on my terms and not because the wind sails on that thing broke.
You know...
Because now I'm thinking like, why did I get on this, excuse my French, shit? I'm doing this wind sailing stuff and the wing breaks. That's out of my control. So guess what I'm not going to do? Wing sail or whatever you got. And it looks fun, but I'm not going to bungee jump. I'm sorry. What if it snaps?
Well, what if you walk down the street and,
If it happens naturally, I'm cool with that.
Okay, so you're cool with that.
But just me actively taking the initiative to bungee jump in the rope breaks,
you're not going to do that.
On the way down, I'm telling myself it's my fault. You're about to die.
Okay,
you know, so that's the only thing. But back to the young boys.
Yeah, what would you say to young boys?
It's really being patient. Staying focused on your goals, knowing that if you take your time and follow the process, because everybody wants gratification. So if we live in a quick gratification world.
Microwave.
If you don't get it today, it's out of there, you know. And when you go that route, you're more inclined to end up being in leadership roles, you know, because everybody goes for the big bang real quick, and we see how that gas is out all the time. Who's in it for the long haul? Who really? And then what's your motivation and purpose? Because everybody have purpose. You got to really identify, like, what was I sent here to do? Identify what that is and then go forward. Because we all have individual talents that no one else has. I don't care what you say. Everybody has a different talent and do things a different way. So hone in on what that is and seek it.
Listen, where can we purchase exotic pop?
Everywhere in the world, including exoticpop.com. If all else fails, you can go to exoticpop.com. But we also have one of our primary signature locations, Busy Bee on Old Spanish Trail in Houston, as well as other authorized dealers across the city. But if you Google Exotic Pop, it brings up all the locations across the country where you can get our product.
Nice. And how can we support and follow you or Exotic Pop?
This interview. When you post this, Courtney Hall, this does great things for Exotic Pop. But outside of that, I mean, just we pride ourselves on eventually becoming, and we speak this loud, we want to be the #1 African-American owned soda, beverage, and juice company in America. And
it's almost like Coca-Cola. Like they have Sprite, they have this, they have that. I can see that for Exotic Pop.
I'm going to just shoot the slug. We're in all of the local C-stores and gas stations and Coca-Cola, and we sit right next to them, and Coca-Cola couldn't...
I wasn't comparing you two. I'm just saying that...
I know you were, but I'm actually bragging now, because Coca-Cola couldn't charge $5 to save their life. They'll go bankrupt.
Right.
But Exotic Pop can, because we created the mystique, we built the brand, and people know the significance of the exclusivity of our product. So we're a force to be reckoned with.
Now let's say I was a singer and I was like, oh my gosh, I want my own Exotic Pop. Could I do that? Or do I have to have like 20 million followers?
Oh yeah, you're following. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what's funny, because, and I'm glad you asked that. So all of you all listening,
right?
No, everybody can't get an Exotic Pop drink. And we get a lot of DMs where people just comfortably say, hey, I want my own soda. What is it going to take for me to get it? And I'm like,
right.
Keep working. I'm not going to say no, but I'm going to say keep working. Like, Too Short is a legend, you know, and his product sells well in the Bay Area. Mac Dre out of the Bay Area is similar to DJ Screw. He's a legend. He's passed away, but he's a legend, and they know him in his area. So at the least, you have to be popping for years and years in your area. Even Desto Doug, a lot of people don't even know Desto, but in Los Angeles, California, on a local level, he popping. He even going national now. So the sky's the limit. The opportunities are out there. We're very strategic in it, you know. But yeah, if you're an aspiring singer and you're on your way up, we'll keep watching you until you're label ready.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for coming on my. It's over.
God.
I wanted to give you a hard time, but you know, Kehlin, I'll just give you a pass.
Oh my God, this is over. All right.
So you're married?
Yes.
Okay.
For how long have I been married?
Okay, so you're not ready.
About
Thank you so much
20 years,
for watching my show.
That's what marriages do to you. You will forget. So.
Thank you so
right.
much.
All
Thank
right.
you. And thank you all for watching this special edition of The Courtney Hall Show.